Jessica, you do, and you had a big smile on your face, and you were waving. And I typically do look to see who you're waving at, and there was somebody waving inside the windows. And I turned and looked, and I was able to see very clearly none other than former Packers offensive lineman Tony Moll, just standing here in the city of Milwaukee for an event coming up later this week. And, well, we poached him. We said he had to come into our studios and chat. We had to catch up. Hey, man.
Well, I mean, we got a good friendship. You know, I was so excited to see you here. I mean, rolling through, checking out, the 3rd Street Market, and here we are.
Did you have any idea that I'd be sitting in this chair as you walked by? It wasn't like, I can go see Greg. It's like, hey, wait a second.
No,
what
not
is
at
he
all.
doing there?
Not at all. I mean, you stand out, believe it or not, you do. I was like, hey, there's Greg. And this is kind of fun. I'm excited.
And
well, we're excited too. We should note, however, if we don't just let anybody who comes and waves in for an interview, because like my neighbor just walked by during the 12 o'clock hour, and I just waved. Usually we're not like pulling everybody in, but in this case, we're making a special time for this.
Yeah, we've had notes about that, not letting just anybody and everybody in. So Tony played for the Packers from 2006 to 2008. He was one of those rare players that sort of bridged the gap between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure that was an interesting time.
Oh, my God. I mean, it's incredible amount of stories that come from that. I mean, just the difference between Brett going to Aaron, the old guy versus the new guy, and now that guy's now the old guy, right? So it's just there's so many fun stories that have come from that time frame that, I get to be a part of.
So we've got to ask you, how are you feeling about this year's team? Because I feel like we've gone through highs and lows already.
Totally, right? Last year, what was it? The conversation was they're the youngest team in the NFL, right? Now it's like, okay, you're seeing a little more experience come from them. They're so much fun to watch on TV, especially out in California. There's a huge following for the Packers, bigger than you would imagine. And especially at our winery, people come watch the games, and it's just what everybody's talking about is like they're seasoned, they're experienced now, and it's showing. And they're making incredible moves. Loved the Micah Parsons move. That was huge for them, and it makes it fun to watch. I mean, unfortunately, our local team out in the Bay Area, the 49ers, is just they seem to be playing out of the hospital. So it's everybody seems to be really watching the Packers, which is even better.
Well, you mentioned you have watch parties at your winery, so it's something that people may not know about you is that. You grew up in the Sonoma area,
right.
And wine has been a part of your family since as far back as you can remember, and now you've got your own brand, which is doing great in Sonoma.
Yeah, totally. So 3 Fat Guys Winery, we're out here for the Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation Wine Gala on Friday. We're also doing a wine dinner at Apis Hotel in Kenosha on Thursday night, so there's still a couple tickets left for that. But, just telling fun wine football stories and talking about wine, but obviously for Friday at the Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation Wine Gala, this is an incredible cause that we've been a part of since we played football with the Packers.
Yeah, that's a great event without a doubt. When I think about just wine country in general, there have been hardships with wine country over the years too. How are things going in Sonoma?
It develops the character in the wine.
I like that answer.
Earthiness, yeah.
Exactly. No, I mean it's what we deal with in California. Wildfires is something that it's a part of what we go through. We don't have hard winters. We just deal with crazy firestorms every once in a while. Luckily this year it's been an incredible year and here in Sonoma, and if you're looking to get away this winter, it's a great place to go and visit, and come see us at the winery.
Have you noticed that? Could a fire be a couple of 100 miles away, but you could still sort of taste it? You know what I mean? And does that affect crops?
It's crazy. So a little bit of environment. So it hits the coastline, and there's such a pressure difference that it's almost like a wall that the smoke will just kind of filter down the coastline. And so it can be a fire up in Oregon or Washington, but we'll see it within a day. Without a doubt, we'll see this. We'll see the smoke. Hopefully, though, we've already picked the grapes. It hasn't affected the grapes. And this year it's nothing that we've had to worry about.
Some people might not know this, but 3 Fat Guys, one of the other co-founders, Darren College, also a Packer. Actually, you know what? I kind of forgot about this. I usually don't get autographs from anybody, but I emceed a gala. This is years ago. I think it was back in 2019. It was for USO Wisconsin. And I was emceeing, but he was there as well. And I did like a question and answer session with him, which was kind of fantastic. But for that, as a thank you, they gave me a football that he had signed. And I still have that, and I dust it a lot. But I think his autograph, like, you can hardly see it. I mean, if you came up and you looked at it, you just would have no idea. So maybe I'll have to, like, give that to you, and he'll have to redo it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
A fun fact. But tell us about some, because not everybody is familiar with Three Fat Guys. You've got that Packers connection. I love hearing that you're actually playing the games. I didn't realize that. I think winery, I love wine, but I love the Packers too, so that makes me want to go even more. But how is it going with this Packers connection and the wine?
It makes it super special. And, you know, for everybody here that lives in the state, that, you know, they grew up with the Packers. It's something that they've known forever. For people that don't live here, they get a taste of it if they ever get a chance to come to Lambeau Field to truly experience it. And so for someone like myself, growing up in Sonoma, in the Bay Area, in California, to finally get a chance to understand truly what being a Packer is, the traditions, the history, it is ultra special in the football community for the players. And it's one of those, it's like, okay, it's not a major city, but you're in like the mecca of football. And so it becomes incredibly special. And then for the three of us, you know, it was a year that they needed to revamp the entire offensive line, it felt like. And so for all three of us to come in as rookies and be starters, and, you know, through the experience of trying to play and block for Brett Favre, and, on your outside, you had Chad Clifton and Mark Tauscher that were kind of just honing us in, and Scott Wells at the center. It was a truly special moment within, I think, the Packer era of kind of like, okay, Mike McCarthy's now getting established, and where are we going to go from here? And it just seemed like every year we just got bigger and better all the way till they won the Super Bowl. And, you know, to be able to be a part of that was just incredible. So
Three Fat Guys is Tony Moll, Darren College, and Jason Spitz, former offensive lineman from the Green Bay Packers. A tongue-in-cheek name, right? Because none of you guys are fat at all, to be honest with you, especially Spitz. He lost like 2 of himself the last time that I saw him. But the wine is also fantastic, right? There's nothing gimmicky about the wine. This is really special. And club and member only?
We're definitely in the market. So you can find us in different restaurants and wine shops, at different grocery stores throughout Wisconsin. And if wherever you go to shop doesn't have it, request it. It's totally fine. We have distribution set up. But you know, it's kind of bringing it home. The idea of, I guess, more of like a brew pub or a brewery. You know, more of like a comical name, but we take the wine super serious. I think a lot of people see the wine industry as something that's really hard to understand, and maybe it's too pretentious for people that they don't know what to think about it, and they kind of give up on it, and it's like, oh, just give me a red wine. And so we're trying to change that. We're trying to make it feel super approachable. That's why we wanted to give it an icebreaker name, but it's truly the comical term for the offensive lineman in the locker room. It's just the fat guys. And I think it kind of allows people to feel like they should be at our winery, come visit the tasting room. They can buy our wines, and then they know that, hey, if it's called Three Fat Guys, and they see that bottle of wine anywhere, they know it's good. They know it's approachable. They know it's something that they can enjoy.
Back in the day, how did the three of you really realize that you all had this true love of wine? Because I think you'd probably think, okay, the Packers players, when they have a moment to, go out and have a cocktail, maybe they're having a bourbon or they're having a beer. How did you realize that, okay, these three guys, they like wine?
Well, it's easier for me because I'm from Sonoma. So my family's been there for more than 100 years, came over from Italy to grow grapes.
That's in your blood.
It's in my blood. Yeah. And so after meeting Darren and Jason, thinking that we were going to be competing for the same job, let alone now all three of us are starters, our friendship really kind of evolved beyond football. And, one of the best things about being an offensive lineman is you go on these O-line dinners with that other positions are like asking if they can go.
Oh,
it's like can we go with you guys? We're like, I don't know. We only got reservations for 12. And so of course the quarterbacks, the tight ends, the running backs, wide receivers want to come be a part of it. Defensive guys. But one of the constants was always a conversation that showed up about wine. And Tauscher has some funny stories that he likes to, go crazy on. But ultimately, a true dinner deserves a good bottle of wine. And so it's something that we've always been able to share together and enjoy. And all three of us like wine. And, so it made sense. And, you learn in the NFL that, that truly that acronym stands for not for long, and you're going to move on to different teams. And so we wanted to do something to really commemorate our time together on the Packers. And that's where this kind of evolved from. It was just, let's create a wine that kind of keeps our friendship together, our families together. And this is what it's turned into. It's been incredible.
You did play for different teams, right? You played for Baltimore. You played for San Diego. Do you do events with those teams, or do you only do things where you started with the Green Bay Packers?
Again, the Packers are such a special team. Like, it's different everywhere else. Like, I've had opportunities to go back to Baltimore to do stuff, and we're working on trying to do some stuff with, the other organizations that we're a part of, but ultimately, the way that this state surrounds the alumni that played on the Packers, it's totally different than everywhere else. I walk around Wisconsin, and someone is going to recognize me, and I'm just an offensive lineman that played 20-something years ago. There's no reason you should know my name or even remember me, let alone if I went to Baltimore, no one would have a clue who I was walking around, and it's just different. And that's what makes it so special up here. And that's why you get so many alumni that want to come back and be involved in the community, just because it is truly something that you want to be able to hold on to in a way. And so we get to share it through wine and tell fun stories and make it super fun and, enjoyable.
So cool. Former Packers offensive lineman Tony Moll in town for an amazing event. It is a one-of-a-kind event. Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation, Food and Wine, November 7th at the Pfister Hotel. A wonderful event, great food, great wine, and great to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Nice to see. It was a great surprise here, pounding on our glass doors.
I'm happy to do it, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yeah, love to have you on here. Tony Moll, former Packers offensive lineman. Check out the wine here, Three Fat Guys wine. It really is quite delicious. Support a good guy and a great person and a great team of people behind Three Fat Guys. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Of course. You guys are amazing. Thank you.